From the beautiful Finger Lakes region of upstate New York, this is the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. We take questions from anyone in the dental profession and discuss what it takes to win not only in dentistry, but in life. Business, leadership, relationships, parenting, health and wellness, money management, nothing is off limits on the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. I'm Jason Tenori, your host, and have over 20 years of experience to pull from. Learn from my mistakes and let me help you collapse time so you can become the best version of yourself. Yo, Dr. Jason here, Dental Lighthouse Podcast. It is a chilly Monday morning in upstate New York, probably about 25 or 30 degrees. It's a little bit later in the morning. It's 10 a.m. Traditionally, I'll record these ramblings or musings, whatever you want to call them, much earlier in the morning. But I was not available early this morning, and that's really the basis of this message to you guys. We have a newer doc. She's been with us maybe about 6 months. She's an amazing individual, and I've been asking her to bring me in to one of her procedures, ultimately in a way to help collapse time for her. So today we did a very simple single unit crown on tooth number 4. She had been scheduling about 2 hours for this procedure, any single unit crown. And during our last one-on-one, we really got transparent and vulnerable with each other. And I told her that for someone that's maybe a year out of residency as she is, 2 hours is not acceptable. Now, what do I mean by not acceptable? Well, it's not acceptable to the patient. They don't deserve to be in the chair for 2 hours for something that could be easily done in 60 to 90 minutes. So we needed to work on that. It's not fair from the business's perspective because we're taking something that is being done in 2 hours that could easily be done in 60 to 90 minutes. So we're removing profitability from the business. And it's just not fair to the rest of the patient base where we're blessed to be so busy, and it's hard to get in for appointments when we're not nearly as efficient with our time as we could be. Then patients have to get booked out further and further and further. So based on that trifecta, she was willing to allow me to come in and basically just be a fly on the wall. And I absolutely love doing this. And my main message for the listeners today is please, please, please start to do this. We're all busy. We all have so many patients, and we all have the clinical responsibilities, and we all have the non-clinical responsibilities. But when you create time for the important, like this, mentorship of your associates is important work. When you can create some time and you can create some capacity for that, the return on that time, the return on that investment of your time is going to pay off exponentially many, many times in the future. So just in this straightforward situation, again, this was not a complex all-on-X case. This wasn't full bony wisdom teeth. This wasn't some very unique upper molar endo situation with like 6 mesiobuccal canals. This was a very straightforward build-up and crown on tooth number 4. But we sometimes forget about, through 15, 20, 25 years of clinical practice, how we've learned so much. And it's information that we take for granted until you see a younger doctor doing things and you're asking yourself, well, why are you doing it like that? Well, the answer that they're going to give you is because that's how I was taught. And we as owner doctors are in such an amazing position to collapse time for younger doctors. And for whatever reason, we take it for granted. We push it off. We'll do it when we have time. We'll do it when I get to it. And I think there's just such an opportunity there that we're missing out. So today I introduced myself to the patient, and you always come up with some kind of lie, right? So I'm not an advocate of lying, but in this particular case, it was exciting to try to make up a little white lie. So I said, "Hey, Mr. Jones, we are using a brand new putty material. As the owner of the practice, test all of these materials, and I've been testing this material for weeks at a time. I feel like it's now an upgrade to go to this material. So I've spent the last week or so introducing this new upgraded material to all of my dentists and assistants, and I'm going to take some time today to introduce them to this new material. And I just wanted to be here for that." And they're like, "Yeah, cool. New material, updated. Yeah, great." Nothing could be further from the truth. It was the same material, same techniques, but you just need to get a little bit of buy-in from the patient when it comes to why are you in the room, right? I've done this with implant stuff, right? "Mr. Jones, we're using a brand new implant system here. And even though Dr. Smith has placed many, many implants, even if they haven't, they're not familiar with this particular system. So I'm going to walk them through this system." Another one is, "Mr. Jones, we're using a new root canal file system. I've spent lots of time and energy getting the system perfected. And now I'm going to teach some of the other doctors how to use this new system. It'll ultimately lead to better care for you." Anyways, so right off the bat with this particular situation, I saw opportunities to help collapse time for the assistant and the assistant and the doctor to lead to a more predictable solution. First thing, the doctor was going to give anesthetic before trying in the triple tray for the temporary impression. I was like, whoa, 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 why are we doing it this way? Well, this is how I've always done it. And I quickly shared with them that sometimes when you give anesthetic and then take the triple tray impression, the patient forgets where to bite. They lose their bite. The cheeks swell and you can't get the triple tray in. And the doctor looked at me and said, that has happened to me before, but I'd never understood why. So again, something as simple as that, like just that right there is going to save a ton of time, headaches, and issues for this doctor moving forward. So I insisted that the assistant take the triple tray impression before we give anesthetic. Boom, perfect. Took the triple tray impression out, gave anesthetic, and then I said, "Well, is there anything that you need to do to this triple tray impression before you use it to make the temporary?" "Well, what do you mean?" Again, what an opportunity. So we looked at the triple tray impression, and there were little fins of material that needed to be removed. A couple of areas needed to be relieved, all in an effort to lead to a much more predictable temporary crown. Again, rocket science for you and I? No. But if you're used to doing it a certain way because no one had ever told you differently, then this is great information for both the doctor and the assistant. Let's fast forward into the appointment, right? What burr is this doctor using to prep it? Well, they were using a coarse diamond because that's what they were taught. And sure enough, the coarse diamond took a while to prep this tooth. So after watching this for about 2 minutes or so, I don't have a ton of patience, I suggested that they use a carbide burr. Now, again, I'm not trying to change your philosophy on carbide versus diamond burrs, but if you're looking for a really, really efficient way to prep a crown, at least the start of it, it's with a carbide burr. We used the Great White burr. I showed this particular doctor how to peel through at the DEJ. And the look on the doctor's face was, it was pretty funny because they had never seen anything so efficient. And again, if they've never seen it, if they were never taught it, then how do you expect them to do it? How do you expect them to be as efficient as possible or as efficient as you are through all of your brain damage of figuring it out? So I show this particular doctor the benefits of using a carbide burr to do a majority of the prep. And then again, I'm not going to walk you through every single step, but there's just so many little things here, like how to maintain isolation before you do the buildup, how to plane the adjacent contacts so the lab has a really, really great, big, flat, broad contact to build up to. How to lubricate the prep and the adjacent teeth with a water-soluble lubricant before taking the impression, so things don't get stuck in interproximal areas, so the temporary doesn't get stuck on the prep. How to mark the contacts on the temporary crown so you don't get to the point where you over adjust the temporary, you put the temporary back in, and now you have an open contact. Now you're adding flowable and it's just a hot mess. It's a train wreck. How do you prevent yourself from doing that? So there's just all of these things that you as the owner doctor, or you as the clinical director, or you as someone that's been around the block, you have so much wisdom. And in your mind, you may not think it's valuable wisdom, but to someone that's a year or two out of school, or for someone that's never been mentored properly on how to do the basics, like give anesthetic, prep a crown, make a temporary, pack cord, like you have such an opportunity to collapse time for this young doctor to ultimately change the trajectory of their career, but at the same time, change the business model that you own and are running to lead to a more efficient doctor, a more profitable doctor, and a doctor that's able to see more patients and maintain a higher level of clinical quality. And again, I was in the room for about 20 minutes. I can assure you that we all can find 20 to 30 minutes to be in the room and suck spit for one of our associates, and then be very critical in a very loving way, be very critical of how they're doing something. And from a position of empathy and curiosity, ask like, well, why are you using that burr? Why are you packing it with this cord? Why are you taking the pre-op impression after you give anesthetic? And when you come at it from a position of curiosity, truly wanting them to be better, the dialogue that ensues is second to none. So again, we're all busy. If you can't find 20 to 30 minutes once a week to get with your associate and help them in terms of diagnosis, case presentation, treatment planning, or in this particular case, clinical efficiency when it comes to prepping a crown, taking out a tooth, doing endo, putting an implant in. If you can't find 20 to 30 minutes per week to do that with your associate, then please do not reach out to me and say, I need my associate to produce more. I need my associate to become more efficient. My associate's schedule is not as booked as I want it to be. My associate is not producing what I want them to do. Take ownership of the issue. Take ownership of the opportunity of the situation. Get into the treatment room. Show them how to be more efficient. Watch a recorded video of them presenting treatment and give them honest and sincere feedback. All of these little things you can do. You are such a resource for them. Stop lying to yourself and say, well, I don't have enough time to help them, because if you don't have enough time to help them, then two things are going to happen. They're either not going to get better, or they're going to actively search for mentorship in another organization. That's it, guys. If you have any questions or concerns about what I'm talking about here, cool. Reach out to me. I'm at dentallighthouse.com. My email and cell phone are available on the website. I love to talk to you guys about this stuff. If you want to get on the podcast for an interview, let's do it. I'd love to unpack questions that you guys have in an effort to collapse time for you. So thanks for listening. Have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. That wraps up another episode of the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. You have a choice today. Choose to be a lighthouse. Lighthouses are powerful and steadfast. They are beacons of light for others to reference when life gets turbulent. Go out into the world today and become a lighthouse for someone. Give more than you get. True joy comes from serving others. Start today. I'm Jason Tenori, your host. Thank you for listening to the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. For more information, podcast show notes, or links to anything that we have discussed today, please check out our website, thedentallighthouse.com. We would love to hear from you. If you would like to get on the show, please email us at podcast@thedentallighthouse.com.